And thank you for being here and being willing to, record this. I think I wanted to record it, for a couple reasons, right? First and foremost, I don't leave anything to my memory. I don't trust my memory. I want to make sure like I have everything logged. I generally will go through email first, or text message, however we're communicating, and like I'll try to get a rough idea of the tattoo first, and then from there I'll go on to a phone consultation and we'll talk all about it. And, like I just kind of get a feel for you and like if we connect, right? And I think I should mention consultations are always free.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like I know a lot of tattoo artists, and as far as I know, I don't think any of the reputable artists that I know do consultation fees, because at that point you don't even know if you want to work with me or not, right? So the consultation is sort of like you and I figuring it out if we fit and if we want to work together and if you want to end up going with it. So I think it's a sales tactic. Unfortunately, I think you're already $200 in the hole with this person. You're like, shit, okay, like I guess I better follow through, and it's like a pressure tactic. So, but yeah, I wanted to do it for that. I wanted to do it because people are so invested in your journey. They want to come along this journey with you, right?
Yeah.
Figured this might be a good way to kind of like help them come through this journey with you. And thirdly, like instructional, not like strict instructional, but just to kind of show like how I do my consultations with potential clients, and maybe lead by example a little bit, so like younger artists can sort of like maybe model after this, or the public, if they are trying to get a tattoo from somebody, they can kind of use this as a reference point, and I by no means think of myself as like an authority, like everybody in the industry should do it how I do it. This is just after 12 years of working, and tattooing people, this is kind of what I've come to, and this is like my process.
Right.
So all of that said, I want to sort of start from scratch. Like I was telling you before we started recording, I would like, to sort of put away all the information that we've learned, because I have been invested in this story as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of following along. So I have an idea of like what you might want, but to start from scratch.
Yeah, just wipe that and start again.
Yeah, let's wipe all that out. Start. So let's see. You did send me some reference images, right?
Right. Yeah, I have a plethora of reference images to go off of now.
No kidding, right? You've seen every it could possibly be drawn, except for mine so far.
Right.
So obviously the originals, everybody recognizes those images. I don't know the artists of these, but I know the one on the left I have used as a reference for myself before for foxes. I love that tattoo. So we have those. And if you could just kind of maybe tell me what you like about those original images.
Yeah, so originally when I decided I wanted a fox tattoo, I just went to Pinterest and typed in fox tattoos, and it was the ones of the fox in that kind of position that stood out to me. When I knew I wanted it on my arm so that it would be visible when I go to races and I'm running, and people would see me running and be like, hey, she's fast like a fox, like that redheaded fox lady. I thought that position looked good on the arm with the tail and then coming down as I'm running, because like there's a lot of arm movement and running, that it would be nice and visible. Like I liked the coloring of the fox. The fox is my favorite animal. And so I saw the one on Pinterest, I think, first. And I was looking at different artists on Instagram that do nature tattoos. And I found that second image on an Instagram artist that was close to me. And she had posted that tattoo, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of exactly what I was thinking, that forearm, upper arm fox in that position running as I'm running you know, and yeah, I just kind of went from there, trying to find an artist that had books open. I had been following a couple of them for a while, and our schedules met up where, you know, I made that consultation and thought I was going in the right direction there.
I'm sorry that it worked out the way that it did. You know, it's just kind of a, seems like communication was probably like the biggest breakdown. Maybe she like, you know, it's hard to communicate. And as I know, as like maybe less experienced tattoo clients coming in, they might not know the questions to ask or the right terminology, right? And it's up to us artists to sort of educate people as they do come to us. You know, we are the professionals. We are like the authority on tattoos, or we should be. So when you come to us, it's up to us to educate. And I think a lot of artists fall short. I definitely have personally in the past as well. Like there's been times where I've just been like so burnt out because I was working, you know, 60 hours a week tattooing that like I couldn't explain again why that wouldn't work as a tattoo.
Yeah.
Right. So I have fallen short personally, and I just want to make that clear. Like I'm nowhere near perfect, right? But this is just what I've come to as I'm learning, and you know, like tattooing is almost like you're a nurse. We're almost like practicing medicine, right? They don't say like we're not masters in medicine, we're practicing medicine, right? And like things change, and we have to change with it.
Yeah.
And so like this is what the industry's come to, and with so many people coming in to get tattooed, we're gonna have to like help educate a little bit, right? So I love those images. I love the sort of playful movement that those foxes have, and the placement of the flowers too. Like the composition is very good on those. And I know that you mentioned watercolor, right?
Yeah. Just I'm not sure if that's the term that I know it by. Like I don't want the ink splatter watercolor type thing. Like I want it to be filled in, but it doesn't have to be like completely solid. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Um, yeah, like lighter colors instead of like really like, I don't know, dark. That's where I'm looking for,
Okay.
yeah, a little bit of guidance there.
No, totally. And like, so that's kind of what that's sort of what I gathered, you know, like I heard you say watercolor, but then I see these other images that you're drawn to. And so I kind of expected there was like a vocabulary problem there, right? So like watercolor tattoos are generally, yeah, like the swirly, like watercolor splatter, not solid color. And so that's like a specific style of tattoo. And like, I think there was like maybe some mix up there. Those tattoos also, I always try to tell people like the way that those tattoos look fresh is cool, but they are not applicated, and they're not applied, sorry, applicated. They're not applied to the skin in a way that is going to last, right? If you shade with color, if you're not packing color in, it's not going to last. It's going to be the first thing to fade, and in like 5, you know, maybe 10 years, like that's going to be completely gone. So I was kind of hoping that that was, you know, the issue, because I see these other foxes that you're putting in. It's more like these foxes are, you know, painterly style, or like, you know, they're slightly neo-traditional, and like neo-trad is a very open genre of tattoo, right? So there's a lot that can fit in and be called like neo-trad, but like they look very different. But you know, after this long in the game, you know, this past year, I finally like named my specialty. So I specialize in realism and neo-trad, and I often do like mixtures of the two as well. But these come across very like neo-trad, painterly, just like a good flow. And these ones that you sent, they do have solid color. They may look a little bit lighter and use pastel, or you know, like more pastel colors.
Okay.
But these ones are like solidly packed. They're very well done. So I kind of, from your reference images, I kind of gathered that. And a lot of times there is a communication like breakdown there because people like, I do this every day, you don't, right? So like, how are you to know?
Yeah, I've learned a lot of new terminology in the last week and a half, that's for sure. Like I'd never heard of neo-traditional before, and it's definitely been a learning curve. And yeah, I can see where there might have been some better teaching and communication before that, you know, uh, now that I've learned what I've learned.
So, yeah, you're immersed in it now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you get a full-on education. So this is good. But that's why, you know, like personally, I always ask people for as many reference images as you can give me. You know, the better the tattoo will become. And like same with stuff that you don't like. If you see stuff that like tattoos that you really don't like something about, like that's good for me to know too. So I try to get a feel for what you like and what you don't like, so I know that I can find that and make a perfect tattoo for you. Um, so that's good. I'm glad we were able to clear that up because I did have a feeling about the watercolor. So not so much like swirly, like splattery.
No,
Um,
I like the term you used, painterly. Like if it looks more like painted, that yeah, I like that.
yeah, not so like realistic, but like just it's got like a painterly, like artistic vibe to it.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the other thing, obviously, with dark colors, I have a lot of clients that come in afraid of dark, you know, and it's a very like sort of sticky situation because in tattooing, the darker colors do stay better, right? And so we do need to use some dark to give like a you know, three-dimensional kind of feel to it, just to give it some depth, right?
Mhm.
Um, I can do mostly pastels. There will have to be like a little bit of contrast in there.
Okay.
See what but I will, realizing that you don't want like a dark solid, you know, tattoo that's just going to look like those old dark solid tattoos in a few years. I
Yes.
told so I will definitely take that into account in the design. Foxes do obviously have like black nose. They usually have black paws.
Yeah, and I do like the feet of the fox to be dark and the tail of the fox to be the white, like, you know, just those fox characteristics. I want to make sure that we capture those. So like that kind of stuff I'm okay with to be on the darker side. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Okay. Okay, cool. And that's the other thing too, is like setting apart like the white part of the fox from the rest of the fox too. Like you have to use like some darkness there just to be able to set those apart a little bit. But I'm by no means gonna just like pack black all over your tattoo and then like throw color on top of it. Like you've seen my work.
Yeah.
So good. And I'm feeling very good about this. I love this. And then you sent some more references, which I know were probably pieces of art that people sent after all this.
Hmm.
And if you want, I would like you to like kind of walk me through like what stands out to you about each one of these, and then if yeah, we can maybe shout out the artist that donated this piece to you too. I think that would be cool for them to kind of be a part of it. It was so nice of everybody to just
Oh
like,
my gosh, it's overwhelming.
yeah, that's super cool. Um, so this first one, you said like this one for the florals and the blueberries and overall coloring, right? And I don't know if like me showing this is the best way, maybe.
Yeah,
Like
so that one I like, that's kind of like that painterly soft color that I really liked.
totally.
And I don't know who said it on one of my first videos that I was giving off a blueberry vibe, and they thought that there should be some blueberries in the tattoo, and I kind of liked that. And then every time I look at one that has blueberries, or like even like there was one with raspberries, I think, and I just think of the little fox in a little blueberry patch, just like mowing down those blueberries, just being like
Love,
best fox life. And I love the contrast in the blue and the orange.
totally,
So ever
totally.
since I saw that blueberry comment, I'm like, yep, it's gonna have to have blueberries. And then like with Jenna being the beatboxing blueberry, I was just like, it's
Yeah,
perfect. This worked
she's
out so perfect.
very, yeah. Now people are like saying, "Oh my god, I hate this name," but like people are calling me Fox Hero. So uncomfortable with the term hero. Like I just all I wanted to do was like you know, make this right for you, but also to like, set an example for artists out there that like, it's okay to be a good person, right? Like we don't scumbags, and there's so many good people that are artists out there that I know and love. But I fucking, when you said blueberries like that, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Cause like, yeah, my apprentice who's here now, Jenny, you want to come show your face real quick? She is the
Bring in the
beatboxing
blueberry.
Yeah, and like so it's just like a crazy full circle. It's got the whole community involved. This is the blueberry.
It's so fun and exciting. Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, we're gonna throw some blueberries in there.
I love that.
So this is Jessica, who is it Auburn Darling? Is that her her handle?
That's her that she sent me that one up.
That's at Auburn Darling. Great piece of art, Jessica. I love it. I love the blueberries.
Yeah, it's so pretty. Yeah, gotta get some blueberries in.
Right?
For sure. Sneak them in.
Yay, there it is. There.
Yeah, I've got piles like this of art. So I'm gonna be keeping them all, and I'm just so blown away by the kindness of everybody sending them to me. So trying to incorporate which ones, like the pieces that I liked from each of them, so that we can pull it all together. And then it's kind of like everybody made this tattoo happen too, right?
Totally. Yeah, I love that too. And it's such a community vibe right now, which I really dig that. That's what we're on here for. Okay, so I need to take some notes here. That's the other part of the consultation is like, like I said, I don't trust anything just to my memory. So I do like to take notes as we talk. Doing blueberries. Also, what did you have specific flowers that you wanted to throw in there?
So yeah, originally I had said no, I don't have like a flower preference. I don't have a favorite flower. I just didn't want it to be overwhelmingly flowery. Like it's the fox is the main feature. So I'm definitely not picky on what kind of flowers we're looking for. Just a flower that would have a color that maybe would, go well with the orange of the fox and the blue of the blueberries, and a few leaves, like some greens and stuff in there too. But whatever color would like pop with that in the pastel kind of vibe.
Totally. So like that sort of pink raspberry kind of color on like there's it seems actually very common with all these ones that you sent actually is like that sort of raspberry to pink type of fade. So okay, I can totally make that happen. And like that so with the flowers and the leaves, right? That's where like the specific kind of neo-trad feeling comes into it, right? Like where you see you looked at some of my work, like My Fox, the raccoon that I did, and like that kind of stuff, where those leaves are very like a specific kind of look. Are you good with that? Do you recall what I'm talking about?
I can't picture it off the top of my head right now.
See if I can show you. Okay. So this raccoon has a very good example of what like neo-trad leaves look like. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So stuff like that, that's kind of where it becomes less realistic and more has like a neo-trad feel. Is that something that you'd be interested, or would you like it more like sort of realistic kind of painterly rather than like stylized?
So the only thing about that neo-trad is like the outline of the leaves. A lot of my favorite tattoos are the ones that don't always have an outline on everything, like where it's just like the green leaf.
Totally.
Without the black outline around it.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what style that would be called.
Well, so stuff without lines like that, it could be painterly, it could be color realism. Like a lot of color realism doesn't have like visible black lines in it. So, without the terminology, I can understand, I think, what you're going for. So like less black outlines and stuff like that, more just sort of like, so thing with that, another point that like tattoo artists need to educate people on is that tattoos last longer if they have that line, right? If we create a line, it creates a line underneath the skin and it keeps that ink, the colored ink from like spreading.
Like a blowout type thing?
Well, so blowout's different.
Okay.
Blowout's very, but like black ink, especially like specific lining ink, spreads much less over time, right? Where so if you make a black line with the right lining ink, it should not expand too much, right? And not only that, but it creates a line underneath the skin and the dermis where the ink sits. It sort of creates like a barrier. Colored ink generally is not made to line, so it doesn't hold edges for as long. It spreads a little bit more than that black lining ink would. So over time, like, you know, obviously fresh tattoo going to look super beautiful, no black lines, right? Over time, the image is just going to soften quite a bit because it doesn't have that sort of barrier to keep it, you know, in its shape. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I can do minimal black lines, or I can do no black lines, but I just want you to be sort of educated on like why we put black lines. And color realism, you know, there's some amazing color realism artists out there. I've seen some awesome pieces, and then I've also seen some color realism pieces healed for a couple years, and it just doesn't even look like the same image, right? And you know, the appeal of tattoos is that they do last forever, right? I'm giving you this piece of art that's going to stay on your skin forever. So, you know, after this much time in the game, like I have come to think a lot more about like the same tattoo in 10 years, how it's going to look. Especially now that I've been tattooing for that long. So I've kind of seen the effects of like what you do, what you don't do. So I do need to sort of, I guess, caution you on that a little bit. Like we can do minimal black lines, we can do no black lines, whatever you want, but like over time, that's a good thing.
Okay. I do have some tattoos where they don't have black lines, but like on some parts of the tattoo there is black lines. Like some of it's outlined and some of it's not. I don't know how to like explain that.
Yeah.
I like the thinner the black as possible, I guess, would be my preference then, just because like I don't like thick lines in general, but the thinner the better would. And then like if like maybe some of the leaves didn't have lines, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like a mixture that we can do.
Totally, absolutely. And that's what I mean by like I can do minimal black lines on this thing. Like if you want to keep it as little black as possible, we can totally do that. Just to sort of like bring up those original references. You know, there is like some line work in there. It is kind of hidden. But if you look at the like just they put the line work in the correct places just to keep the shape of certain things, right? And it doesn't look like heavy line work, like a cartoony outline or anything.
Yeah.
If you're good with sort of like the look of those two, are you good with that?
I'm looking at them now. Yeah, I can see where you're saying that there is, definitely.
Yeah, and see how like the one on the left, there's like just a little bit of like very fine line work to give it that texture of the fur and keep that shape.
Yeah.
So just in the right places, right? I'm not going to go and like outline the whole thing, you know, full thick lines. You know?
That would be great.
Take away, yeah. So, okay, I'll take that into account in the design. The less lines, the thinner lines, the better.
Yeah. Just try to keep it really like feminine looking.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's a girl fox. It's not a boy fox. She's a girl for sure.
Definitely, yeah. We want to keep that feminine. Yeah, okay, good. And then let's see. Okay, so you like the floofiness of this one.
The tail on that one, yeah. So some of the tails were like a little on the thin side. I think my fox is going to have a very floofy tail.
Okay, perfect. Good. And then and we're talking about like you're good going like over like the shoulder, like at the top right here.
Yep, like anywhere where kind of like a tank top would kind of cut off, like a sleeveless shirt, like the tail would be up there. Yeah.
Okay. And then so just to like make it flow the best with your arm, are you okay if I go like where your shoulder rounds, like just like a little bit up there, just so we can kind of give it that shape.
Yep.
When we do tattoos, we definitely want them to fit, form, and flow, right? The three F's. So we don't want to make it too small. A lot of people are like, I don't want to go that big, but it's like, okay, we're making this, specifically to fit that part of your body.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure we had that kind of understanding and like you were okay with that. I'm not going to go like up your neck or anything, like on your, but I'll make it to flow and to fit that spot right there. So we will do that. Definitely a thicker tail. Like the position of that fox is very good too. And I'm sorry if I'm not showing these on this recording, but like that was the floofiness one with like the floofy tail.
Yep.
Awesome. We'll be taking that tail as a reference. Thank you, MJ Arts. And then the position of this fox, do we know that?
Yeah, that's Parker Midnights. So Parker was one of the first artists to share my video and kind of give me some comments out of Portland. I think they have a lot of followers as well. So they did that one for me. And I did like that, I can tell by the pencil lines in that one that there's like some motion going on. Yeah, I definitely liked the layout of that, the position of that fox.
Perfect. And then, yeah, the coloring of this one. Yeah, Sydney Tattoos killed the coloring on this one.
Absolutely. So that's where I'm looking at that painted coloring. Like it's a rich color, but it looks like lighter in some areas and definitely looks like it's been painted with watercolors or something, right? Definitely.
Yeah. And then so like so there's a perfect example. The leaves on that one, how they have sort of like a neo-traditional kind of style. And the berries. That's funny because I did the berries and the neo-trad with the raccoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously this is probably a bit more black and a bit more lines than you would look for, correct?
Yeah, just some of the lines are a bit thicker.
Yeah.
Than what I would go with, but like the lines, the color, like the lines on the fur and everything, those are fine. Like we want to know that the fox has fur, right? So we have to have some of those lines, I think, for sure.
Hopefully, yeah, we got to give it that shape. The other thing is it does tend to like to go with a slightly thicker outline on the outer portion or how it is right there on the leg. See how it kind of brings it forward a bit. So that's one of our artistic tricks to make it look that good, right? It's one of those things. I like to do that, not on all tattoos, and we don't have to go that thick by any means, but keeping in mind that's going to be probably the trickiest part for me is to keep the line work, like put enough to where like I'm comfortable that tattoo is going to look good forever, but like not too much where you're like, oh, it's a lot of lines or thick lines, so that is something that I'm going to take into account, and like I will definitely like run this design back and forth by you, so you can sort of like make sure as I'm going, then it's gonna stay how you want it to, right? But also be like with my knowledge of how tattoos work, a workable tattoo.
Right.
We gotta find a spot. And this is why consultations are so important, because like we have to be able to like talk about this, and it is going to be like a sweet spot, and we got to be able to find that. And then so this one stood out. This one was just stand out. It just looks good, right?
Yeah. I don't know, something about the way that the fox is, her face looks in there, and this one's by Claire was the name of the artist that sent this one to me. The fact that there was only 4 flowers, so it's like pretty much all fox, and that position looks good, right? Like that fox is like focused on something, and yeah, definitely. Looks like a clever little fox for sure.
Totally. Okay, cool. I love it. I think think I've pretty much cleared it up. How low on the arm are we talking? Like, are we coming down to the elbow?
Yeah, we can come down to the elbow there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And then
if you can
don't
see
cross
that in there.
nary line. Yeah, I can't. What I will do is I'll ask you to have your husband take a picture straight on. You know what I mean? So with your arm by your side, and just have him take a picture so that I can see shoulder and like and a little bit below where we're going. So that way when I design this, I'm designing it right over your arm. Like so it's gonna fit and like we know exactly where things are gonna go.
Okay.
I like doing it that way the best because we're not drawing this for a piece of paper, we're drawing this for your arm.
Yeah.
We like to have that picture and then just kind of design straight over that. And a lot of artists do. So, okay. Got a lot of information. We got the fox. I know the position. I know we want blueberries. I know we want like the pinkish raspberry colored flowers. Minimal line work, minimal black. And yeah, so more like pastel-y vibes, feminine. Yeah, okay, cool. Yep. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So I think right now I have enough information to go off of to begin this design.
Okay.
You know, obviously we'll be in contact. If I have any questions, I'll text you. And if you have anything, do you have any other questions right now, actually?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm good. You've explained a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot to take in, I'm sure. And like,
Yeah.
if there are questions ever, you know, just reach out to me. I would like to point out that generally when I'm doing this, obviously this is special circumstances, but I do want to run out there that like something like this is going to take, you know, 1.5, maybe 2 days, just because of the size of it, the color and all that. Like, and I don't rush tattoos. Like we're gonna like, you know, be methodical about this whole thing. So for me, if I were doing this as like a regular consultation, and just so you know, this is the educational part, right? This is the point. You know, there's no pressure ever. If you did end up deciding to go with me, I generally, for anything more than one session, I charge a $200 design fee. And that is not for a sketch. That is for an actual design with the colors mapped out and everything, right? Like I want to know exactly what this tattoo is going to look like on you. So generally I would do something like that. And a 50% deposit for your first session. Which for me, just so everybody knows, and I have no, you know, I'm not hiding anything. Like I have no fear of like my rates. It's nothing personal. Just the rate that I do is at $2,000 a day flat rate, right? And what that looks like is you come at like generally noon. I mainly do noon. I can bump it up to like an earlier time if necessary. We probably will for yours, just so that we have, you know, enough time and we're not exhausting you either. But generally I'll start at noon and we'll end around like 9:30, right? That gives us time on each end for like for setting up, putting the pattern on you, getting everything ready, you know, and making sure everybody's cool. About 8 hours of tattooing, and then all the stuff after, you know, photo shoot, all that kind of stuff. So generally with me, that costs $2,000. So to book with me initially, right, the $200 design fee is a one-time fee. It doesn't get repeated. So initially to book with me, it would be $1,200. Obviously, we're doing this one special for you. And thank you, H2 Ocean and Jenny, for setting all the other stuff up. I just get to, you know, focus on doing this tattoo for you.
So amazing. Thank you.
Right. So yeah, I just wanted to like put that out there because a lot of people are like, a design fee, I've never heard of that. It's like, yeah, like a lot of people saying that haven't been tattooed in the last 10 years, you know, and this industry has come a long way from like coming in and picking something off of the wall to like now coming to a fully custom artist who is going to design something up and put it on you. It's not on anybody's wall, right? It's only on your skin. So the design fee, this is going to get controversial, but the design fee is not the enemy, right?
No.
The design fee is not only meant to like bring value to your tattoo for you, but also to the artist's lives, right? Because like, I don't know about obviously some artists don't spend this amount of time, but like I spend hours like pouring through images and placing everything and like drawing it, and so like it takes hours to design the perfect tattoo, right? And it's hard because I think artists should be compensated for that too. There's obviously going to be a debate, and people are going to fucking hate me for saying that, but like, the whole design fee thing isn't the end. I think consultation fees, I think that should never be a thing. And if you are going to charge a design fee and you're going to charge an exorbitant amount for that design fee, you should probably fucking make it worth it, right? And so like I should point out, like my design fee is $200. It's not even a full hour of my tattooing time,
Right.
Like $2,000 a day for 8 hours, that comes to $250 an hour. Like, so I'm not even charging 1 hour for my design, right? Which I probably, people have told me I should charge more, but like this is where I'm comfortable. So that's one of the things educationally I would like to clarify. And then other than that, like, yeah, just never any pressure with the sales. It's like, hey, if me and you are vibing and we want to work together, you want to come to me for this. Like, this is just how I operate. It's nothing personal. It's the same for everybody. I would charge my mom the same thing. Luckily, she'll never get tattooed, so I don't have to worry. But like money can be such a touchy subject, especially for artists who generally undervalue themselves, right?
Right.
So I did want to kind of take this opportunity to point that out as well. And I know it's at the end and people probably stopped watching by now, but I'm trying to educate, and we're trying to take people along on your journey. And you probably never expected to be a public figure after all this. Like, you just wanted a tattoo.
Yeah.
God, so bless you. So yeah. And if you don't have any questions for me right now, then I think we can go ahead and end the consultation. I'll get started on your design, and that's the other thing. I don't usually send designs to people generally before the day of, just because like I don't want you to like run off and get that from somebody for cheaper and have them fuck it up and then have you come back and be like, can you fix it? I'm like, no, dude, that's like such a slap in the face, So just for me personally, to avoid all that, like we run through everything, and during my consultation, I feel I always get a very good read off of people and what they want. And I haven't had any kind of clients be upset about it. So generally, like, this is where it goes into my hand. I do the artistic part, right? And then when you show up, you get to see the design. Everybody's always like, wow, okay, cool. And then like it makes them excited, right? Like it gives it some anticipation too. In this instance, you're coming from another country. It's already been one major issue. So I want to avoid all that. So I will be, sending this back and forth to you.
Okay.
Sure that not only are you fully happy with the design, but then you get to be excited. You get to kind of start imagining it on your skin and everything too, So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like, yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be fantastic. And, thank you for taking the time to sit with me and thoroughly go through it and answer all my questions and talk about these designs.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I'm glad I could be able to do this, and like, I'm grateful. Obviously, like I mentioned, my sponsors, H2 Ocean and Jenn. But really though, like I am very grateful to be at this point in my life and my career where I am able to do something like this, and I've seen, obviously on social media, you see some like random crazy acts of kindness. And like, I don't know, for me, I've always been like, I want to do that. Like I want to be able to do something like that. And so I'm just grateful to be able to do this, and make it happen for you.
Thank you so much, Matt.
You're welcome. And yeah, I'll be in contact if I have any questions. Same for you. If you have any questions, reach out.
Deal.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Courtney.